Hi everybody, I am, I'm Kate. I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. That seems pretty cool. I've been seeing a lot of YouTube channels that like take sponsorships from, like video game companies, and they're like, they say positive things about those games. And I want to be an unbiased game reviewer, that doesn't take sponsorships from people who want me to say a specific thing. You come to my channel, you get the straight, honest truth, type thing like that. So yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, stick around for some more happy, fun adventure times with your old pal Kate here. Today I want to talk about Death Stranding 2. Now, Death Stranding 2 is a divisive game because if you haven't played the first game, you really won't get the same experience out of this as you could. And a lot of people are barred from the first game and the second game because it's a walking simulator. But I am here to tell you that the walking simulator is crucial to how the game functions. So I want to start off by saying how Death Stranding 2 compares to Death Stranding 1. And this is a spoiler-free review, so if you haven't played either game, don't worry. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I might do, like, another spoiler, review in a separate video, but, okay, let's get into it. So the first game in the Death Stranding universe was excellently written, and it played very well. But Death Stranding 2 it expands on every system and the story in, unimaginable ways. Like, the story, it feels like in number 2, in number 2, it is, it makes it integral to the first story. Like, you now cannot experience the first story without the second game. And I feel like that is a mark of a very well integrated, way of being with stories. That is what I like to see. The music is superb. Guys, when I tell you, they use a lot of the songs from the first game, but they expand on them. Like, the BB's theme from the first game comes back in this, and it is huge. Like, it is like a motif for this game. Multiple characters reference it. That's not even to mention, like, the song Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. But that's like the gist. Raindrops keep falling on my head. That song. That is utilized so well in this game, as well as many other songs, and they're used to build the story, and build off of the first story, remind you of times that you experienced those songs in the first game, and also creates new stories with these new songs like Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head that just keep expanding off of the source material in such pleasant ways. There's a music player app in the game that you can you can make playlists with all of the Death Stranding songs, and it's so fun to just walk around the world, drive around the world, and hear songs from both games, and it's just I think it's a nice touch. I've talked about kind of the overall experience. I want to get into the nitty-gritty stuff, I want to talk about the gameplay. The gameplay was expanded upon in subtle but very noticeable ways. So there's some new systems, there's some new weapons to interact with. For example, I can't really remember in the first game if there was a sniper rifle, but there is in this game, and it is really interesting. And the actual combat itself feels very satisfying. When you down an enemy, the game slows down for a tick, and you get this punch, this oomph of excitement when you down an enemy, or when combat starts, when an enemy notices you, time slows down for a tick and your attention is drawn to that enemy. It is a very immersive feeling. For the gameplay itself, you're not going to be in combat a lot. That's what makes those experiences stand out more. The core gameplay is same as the first game. You are delivering packages from one place to another, expanding the chiral network, which is the internet. For all intents and purposes, this is the internet. You are reinstating the internet in Australia and Mexico for the post-apocalyptic world of the Death Stranding. And they added some new mechanics that I really like. So in the first game, you use resources to craft new things with like these like super cool 3D printers that don't just use plastic. They use like metals, special alloys, like all of these things. But this game implements a mining system. So you have these mining settlements that you go to and you dispense materials to make them start running. And then you can dig into the ground and get materials that you can then transport to facilities so you can like craft things with these. And that's expanded on with a new system, a new like roadway system called the monorails. The monorails are like you build them up and they go like that, and you can it's like a zip line. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like a zip line, but you can take your car with you. You can take your materials with you. You can even ride on it yourself. It is so magical to see the world from like a bird's eye view with all of these materials that you've gathered, and you're going to like a place so that you can input those materials. And probably my favorite new addition to this game is the animals. Now, I love animals. I love them. I love them. I can't really state how much I love animals. Okay, I love them. Okay, I feel like I'm going a little off rails here. I love animals. In this game, there's an animal shelter. And if you find animals out in the wild, you can capture them and bring them to the animal shelter, and you bring them back there, and they kind of rehabilitate them into an environment that they're building that is trying to rehabilitate the Australian ecosystem. And it is so fun. Like, you can get like kangaroos in there, you can get ostriches in there. Like, it is so cool to be able to rehabilitate the Australian ecosystem one step at a time, one animal at a time. And they're all so cute, and they're just so nice, and they fit nicely on your back, and it's a feel-good feeling. So next up, I want to talk about the storytelling. Walking and driving, delivering packages, that's an aspect of the game, but really it's a vessel for the storytelling. It's a way for you to feel this connection between yourself and the world. In the story, you're introduced to new faces and reintroduced to old ones. While it is extremely satisfying to deliver a package in its own right, battling scavengers and BTs, which are beached things, they're like the ghosts, it was really a conduit through which the story was told. You know, it shows how connected this world is because of you, and that story that it told was phenomenal. Throughout the game, you're introduced to new faces and like ones that you met in the first game to create a roster of characters that journeys with Sam to reconnect the Australian continent. And every member of the team, and this is really important, every member of the team felt like they were integral to that process. Like you have, I won't spoil like who the team members are, what they do, but each of them feels like they are crucial to the team, whilst not taking away from the draw of the main character. Like they all equally fit into this mesh. But the story itself really aligns with the message of the first game, and that's a story about connection. It tells the story of a broken world, a post-internet world, being reconnected by this team of misfits who have found each other. So you're reconnecting people to each other, and throughout the game, you are introduced to online elements, just as you were in the first game. And I feel like many games utilize online elements, but Death Stranding truly understands the core of the internet, and that's a place of connection. So you'll be traveling from one place to another, and you'll see a structure, like whether that be a generator or a zip line or a ladder or a bridge implemented by another player, and you can interact with that, you can use it, you can like it, and you can create your own. And that will be displayed in other people's worlds. And this really goes to show, like, how, you're not alone. In this journey, you're in a solitary state a lot of the time. You're traveling just with yourself, but so many other people before you and so many people after you have and will walk this path that you're walking. They will interact with this story. They will experience this broken world just as you have. But their experiences will be different because the structures that are there are going to be different for each person, because different people are going to have different structures from different worlds. And I feel like that is a masterful implementation of the internet in a game about the internet and connecting the internet. It shows you just how important this thing is to this world. And also, it makes your life so much easier. So why not use it? It really brings back that feeling of playing Death Stranding 1 in America. Now, the mark of a good game to me is to have all of the elements of the game help to tell the story. You don't want just like a really good story and everything else is like, eh. You want everything to contribute to the story. And I feel like Death Stranding does that really well. The bleak landscape sets the mood for like a broken civilization, whilst the new structures that players build and that you can build set the mood for renewal of civilization, building on top of these broken ruins with a generator, perhaps, symbolizes that growth in and rebuilding of the world. And it also displays the connection between you and your peers. There is a social media element implemented into the game as well. I feel like that is really interesting because it shows how you've affected the world, essentially. With each person that you link up to the chiral network, they are now able to message you and other people that you've linked up on the social strand service. That part of the game is so meaningful because you get to see these people that wouldn't ever have connected before talk about things that they have like shared interests in. Some people will talk about like what this phenomenon is and how it works, and somebody else will actually have the answer. So they'll ask questions to you and other players, other characters. And I think that is really special and utilizes like a small mechanic in the game to tell more minute stories. And I really like that. And the world and the gameplay exists to serve the story just as much as the characters do. You yourself are that strand. You're connecting these places together, and like the story itself is one of connection and one of like love and choosing where you walk. We'll get to that. I know that like where you walk is really vague, but we'll get to that. Now, I want to talk about the acting. The facial acting and voice performances are phenomenal. Like you get these minute details from the mocaps that motion capture that really showcase how beautiful this game is. There are some scenes without dialogue, and you sit in silence and watch these actors act. And it's beautiful. I think that's about the end of this review. But to wrap it all up, to sum it all up, Death Stranding 2 and Death Stranding in general is a story about connection. It's about taking initiative and about what comes tomorrow. Tomorrow is a huge central through line in this game. How we choose our futures by the actions taken today, and how the past echoes into the present, ultimately affecting the future. There really isn't much else I can say about the story without spoiling it, so I won't. Because genuinely, this is one of those games that you have to experience firsthand to be able to, like, appreciate it. The time you spend with Sam Porter and Lou is just as important to the story as, like, the plot twists, the exposition. That time that you spend in this walking simulator is just as important as the story itself. If you haven't played this game, like, just play it. If you're on the fence about it, just play it. If you've played the first game and for some reason you're thinking, I don't really want to play Death Stranding 2, play it. It will alter your brain chemistry. It will change the way that you think about connection. It will change the way that you think about Death Stranding 1. If you haven't played Death Stranding 1 and you're thinking about playing Death Stranding 2, do not. You need to play Death Stranding 1 first. Let me repeat. Okay, am I looking directly at the camera here? Okay, you need to play Death Stranding 1 if you're going to play 2. Have I made myself perfectly clear? Do not spoil the second game for yourself. Don't spoil the first game for yourself. Just play the first one. If you don't have access to it, watch somebody else play it. Watch a playthrough of it. I'm serious. This game is really, 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 really good. Okay, that's my rant over. Yeah. It saddens me that so many people are put off by this game because it's a walking simulator. And Hideo Kojima can't just make a game that is for everybody. He makes a game that is really personal. And I think that's really special. And I think he's an excellent writer and director, and I really wish that more people could see just how fun Death Stranding is, just how important the game play is. It was made to be a walking simulator, and it wouldn't work any other way. What better way to connect yourself to people and to yourself? What better way to view tomorrow than putting one foot in front of the other? And that's my Death Stranding 2 review.
All right, here's a good picture I made. Enjoy. Have a nice day.